On January 18th, we're going to have our first new moon of 2026 in the practical, goal-oriented, I'm in this for the long haul sign of Capricorn. With a lineup of 6 planets conjunct talking to each other during this new moon, this adds an intensity and it highlights that wherever this new moon, my friend, is happening in your natal astrology chart, you are likely to be reflecting or deliberating on a relationship, plan, project, or goal that is vital to your long-term happiness or emotional well-being. Not only this, there's a wild card aspect to this new moon, which I'm going to share with you in part 1 of this video, along with who will feel this new moon most intensely, what other planetary conversations are going on, and how can we work with these energies with the most ease and grace. And in part 2, as always, I will do your 12 sign readings and pull an oracle card for each of the signs as well. Now, if you've just found the channel, I want to take a moment to warmly welcome you. I am so glad that you are here. This is a like-minded community. If you're an empath, highly sensitive, on a spiritual path, or you just love astrology, take a moment to tap the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Welcome back. Happy 2026 to all of you who've been watching my videos and have subscribed. I am so grateful to you. I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer and intuitive life coach, and it's always my intention to inspire and empower you through Western tropical astrology. I also love meeting you on Zoom for one-on-one astrology readings, so if you are intrigued, stay tuned till the end. I will tell you more about my offerings, and I have a free gift for you. Stay tuned till the end for that, and if you'd like to get my weekly inspirational astrology updates for free, go to my website, subscribe to those updates, and you'll get your free instant download gift at the same time. Now, all new moons are the beginning of a brand new manifestational cycle. They help us co-create our dreams with our spiritual guides, with our higher self, with the universe, supporting us to move that much closer to our destiny. And when you have a new moon in Capricorn at the very beginning of what is likely to be another year of epic change, it is naturally a time that we are thinking about what is important, most important to focus on as we begin this new year. Or you could be thinking about what you want to accomplish this year. We call them New Year's intentions for a reason. But it's important to remember that for every new moon, the moon is not visible. The sky is dark, save for the stars, and so we are naturally drawn inward to reflect. In fact, during a new moon, we can feel like there's a void or a lack. That also inspires us to do that inner deliberation or reflection. And so the house in which the new moon is transiting for you, in this case, Capricorn, the themes of that house will very likely be on your mind, in your heart, your focus around this new moon time. And of course, this is what I will share with you in the 12 sign readings. But it's not just a new beginning of this new moon, specifically because the new moon is happening at 28 degrees, and that is the second to last degree of the sign of Capricorn. So this gives a feeling of something wrapping up at the same time, and a couple of the aspects to this new moon, which I will discuss, indicate this as well. It's a new beginning and something closing out for many of you. Now, as with all new moons, the sun and the moon are conjunct. They are together, they are conferring, and we say with conjunctions that the planets are on the same page. They're working together. The sun is your life force. It's where you are meant to shine your light. The moon is more internal. It can be the subconscious. We often feel the moon in our emotions, and it's connected to our intuitive insights. And whatever seeds of intention you plant during this new moon, my friend, you could see them begin to come to fruition as early as 2 weeks after this new moon, when we have a full moon, which will be February 1st in Leo. And then over the next 6 months from this new moon to the Capricorn full moon, which is happening in late June, this is when you could see your creation coming into full bloom, so to speak, fully manifesting. Now, Capricorn energy is cardinal earth. The cardinal signs jumpstart a season. Capricorn jumpstarts the season of winter. And because winters can be harsh, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is the archetypal taskmaster, We often associate Capricorn energy with nose to the grindstone, grit, determination. I will keep working at this until I see the results of my efforts, no matter how long that takes, no matter how arduous the journey is, I will get to the top of the mountain. The earth part of cardinal earth is we want to see tangible rewards for our efforts in Capricorn energy. If I'm going to work so hard, yeah, this better pay off. I better experience success. And so Capricorn, being ruled by Saturn and often associated with work and career, can also be seen as our ambitions. And they can be connected to our purpose, career, legacy, our reputation, where we want to be acknowledged, and often where we're putting ourselves out there. Now, some of you ask me in the comments sometimes, well, what if I don't have a career? What if I'm retired? What if I've never been career oriented? Then it's how you spend your time, your life purpose expressed. What brings you meaning and fulfillment? For some of you, it's what do you love doing so much that you would do it even if you didn't get paid for it? Or it can simply be an area of your natal astrology chart where karma often plays out because Saturn's connected to karma and Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, where you've had to do the most inner work or outer work. Could be where authority figures challenge you, or an area in which you've had to be very responsible, where you've been quite committed, where you feel obligated to one or more people perhaps, or situations, or even a job. And often in Capricorn energy, we can feel a sense of duty to a person or to whatever we are attached to in that particular house in our chart. We can have a hard time letting go or releasing that job situation, relationship obligation, because perhaps we agreed to it on a soul level before we came to this earthly reality. Capricorn energy can very much be connected to karmic soul contracts. And so I think for many of us, this new moon may be a crossroads. Something could have come up for you during the Cancer full moon, which happened 2 weeks before this new moon in early January. Something could have come to light for you during that Cancer full moon that you feel like, I can't ignore this. I have to acknowledge. It could have changed how you feel about a particular relationship. And now during this new moon in Capricorn, the question may be for you, is this still the right place for me? If I feel an obligation or a long-standing commitment, is that soul contract still current or has that expired? Am I still tethered to that job, that relationship, that project? Perhaps out of codependence, perhaps out of the fear of breaking out or breaking away from that. But if you don't feel like the soil is right for you to still grow within that relationship, it could be that your soul has already moved on. And this is especially important because Saturn and Neptune in the last degrees of Pisces, they will be moving on and re-entering Aries. And Saturn and Neptune coming together exactly on February 20th marks the new era. So some of us are going on different trains, new timelines. We have different soul trajectories now, or perhaps temporarily we're meant to have a parting of ways or set a clear boundary or shift something so that we can answer the true calling of our soul. So this is my question for you, my friend, is what is calling to your heart in this Capricorn area of your chart and your life? No, because we have 4 energies in Capricorn, the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Mars. You could feel some pressure, you could feel some heaviness, but also remember where we put in the work. With Saturn, that's where we get the rewards. There is a payoff as long as the work, whatever that is for you, is aligned to your evolutionary soul mission right now. And I know that can sound very heady, my soul mission. But I think a lot of us know now if something we've been putting time, attention, energy into is no longer aligned with us. And perhaps for a lot of us, this new moon will be more about realigning ourselves with what our heart wants. For some of you, it can be more about what I don't want anymore, what I'm saying no to, what I am no longer allowing to drain my energy. So let's talk about the aspects to this new moon, the other planetary conversations that are talking to the sun and the moon, because they give us clues as to the story of this new moon. Every new moon has a story and how we can best work with these energies. So the sun, moon, Mars, and Mercury are all in Capricorn conjunct, talking to each other. meaning that Mars and Mercury are influencing both our drive, our mojo, our motivation, and our thinking and communication. Mars in Capricorn is strong. It's considered exalted, and it can be very ambitious. Think of it as the CEO of a company discussing the company's goals, strategy, and plan. That's very Mars in Capricorn. But whatever your individual personal goals or plan are, they have to be passionate. They have to uplift your energy or they won't be sustainable. And sustainable is a Capricorn word. Capricorn energy wants to help us to create a solid, sustainable plan for something that can endure. Now, Mercury rules our thinking, our communication, all of our conversations, our emails, writing, speaking, and divine downloads, intuitive insights. And so these together, Mars and Mercury with the new moon, they are suggesting that in true New Year's form, we are thinking about, talking about our intentions or what we want to create or accomplish in 2026. But also Mars supports us to cut ties, to set clear boundaries, to walk away from situations that aren't supporting us. Now, what I love about this new moon is that Uranus, the great awakener, is making a beautiful, harmonious aspect, the most flowing aspect we can get. We call it a trine. The sun, moon, Mars, and Mercury are all flowing this beautiful trine energy toward Uranus. In Uranus energy, there's often a surprise. It's something unexpected. It's something that we couldn't have planned. But because it's a trine, it's way less likely to be a shock or chaos or something discombobulating. It's more likely to be something out of the blue that's novel, that's different, that's fun, that's exciting. Uranus wants to move us forward. Uranus tends to accelerate our path. It can bring quantum leaps. It can be lightning bolts of recognition, awareness that shift us into a new consciousness. Now, we want to keep in mind that Uranus is in Taurus. It's doing its very last pass. So this could be an opportunity or an invitation or a connection that has come up before. Could be a second chance. Taurus is Venus ruled, money, love, beauty, pleasure, and it could be connected to your finances, to material security in some way. Uranus and Taurus often connects to something material for us that we want to maintain or something that we're building, something that we have methodically been putting brick by brick by brick, so to speak. If you get an opportunity, if somebody calls you, if someone emails you, and it's something that seems interesting to you or fun, I encourage you to say yes. Or if you feel restless and you get an idea to go do something different for the day, listen to that because that's when the synchronicities, the serendipity can happen and we can have a fated or destined meeting with someone. Or we can receive some inspiration that points us in the direction of a more exciting or abundant path. Now, we always want to look to the ruler of the lunation. Saturn being the ruler, we ask, where is Saturn and what's Saturn doing? Well, Saturn is doing its last pass in Pisces, hanging out with Neptune, also doing its last pass in Pisces. And together, the highest octave of these two energies is making a dream or a vision real. So this has me pose the question to you, what have you been wanting to make real in your life, especially in the Pisces area of your chart? A dream or something that you have put a lot of time and energy into could be culminating, could be ending, and that's also Pisces energy. Neptune can dissolve something so that we can create space for something that is more in alignment with who we are now in our soul's evolution. But also Neptune and Pisces can be connected to health, unconditional love, self-compassion, compassion for others, and our divine connection. So whatever comes to pass or to light for you during this new moon could have to do with health and healing for you. And just like the Uranus trine, Saturn and Neptune are also harmonizing with the new moon energies. The new moon, Mars and Mercury are all sextiling Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. And sextiles can bring us opportunities or solutions when we take the initiative. We have to take a step, make the call, do the meditation, receive the insight, and follow through on it to receive that gift. Big picture with Saturn and Neptune harmonizing with the new moon, they are supporting us to release anything unhealthy, where we have sacrificed too much, where we are staying with something even though it's draining our energy, where we have possibly sabotaged ourselves, or where we feel victimized. We are meant to do the self-forgiveness, forgiveness of the other, and I love the Ho'oponopono prayer for that process, especially if you're having a hard time forgiving the other person, or you still have feelings of resentment, anger, or sadness. Doing the Ho'oponopono prayer can really help you to release any of those negative emotions. Now, during the introduction, I said that there are 6 energies that are all lined up during this new moon. 4 of them are in Capricorn, but 2 of them are in Aquarius, and that is Venus and Pluto. Venus and Pluto are conjunct one another, as well as making an out of sign conjunction to the Sun, Moon, Mars, and Mercury. Venus rules relationships, love, money, beauty, pleasure, all the delicious things in life. And especially when paired with Pluto, can be connected to wealth, whatever wealth means for you, or a loss of wealth. Pluto rules death and rebirth, transformation, power, and control. There is no gray area with Pluto. Pluto is the great detoxifier. It wants to help us cleanse anything, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a relationship to something like our money or a job, our health. If there's anything that is toxic going on for us, Pluto wants us to cleanse that and take back our power. So when we have Venus conjunct Pluto in Aquarius, this suggests something that's future focused, Aquarius. It can be very passionate. It can be a goal. It can be something that you've been working on for some time. It can be a relationship. It can be meeting someone for the first time and just falling head over heels. We can be quite obsessed with Pluto and Venus conjunct. And because of that obsession, it can be harder to set a boundary. The waters can feel murky. This is where we say it's complicated. But also, it can be super passionate. It can be you leveling up. It can be you taking the reins of your life and saying, I'm doing this. I'm going to put all my time, effort, money, energy into this specific thing, partnership, whatever it is. The inspiration, the passion can be off the charts. But Pluto requires that we stay in our integrity. It requires that we set clear boundaries when necessary, and that we stay in the zone of what is healthy, what is good for all parties, which means all parties, both parties, whatever it is for you, have to be on the same page. Nothing lurking underneath the surface that isn't being talked about. And so perhaps Venus coming together with Pluto during this new moon will coax us out of our shell if we've been a little bit in our shell, if we've been afraid to have an important conversation with another person, if there is something that we have swept under the rug, the elephant in the room, so to speak, that we're not talking about, that is causing tension or causing a rift. Venus conjunct Pluto will probably push us out of any stagnant energy and have us show up for the conversation, but also with Mars and Mercury conjunct the new moon, this is the time to have those important conversations. Now, finally, last but not least, I would be remiss if I did not mention that Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, and remember, Cancer is connected to our emotional security, to our self-care, to what makes us feel most at home, all the emotions that come with being a human on this earthly plane. All of the planets in Capricorn are making a wide opposition to Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. So this could add more emotional intensity to this new moon. Oppositions call for balance, a balance between what your heart most needs, what you need to feel secure. We are meant to balance our very, very personal needs, that's Cancer, with all the Capricorn energies often connected to our role in the world, our role at work, our responsibility towards others, doing the things we said we would do. And so you could feel a push-pull between these two. You could feel a push-pull between your home life, family life, time with someone that you love versus duties, obligations, responsibilities that are weighing on you perhaps during this new moon. So that all said, my friend, who will most feel this new moon in Capricorn? Because it's happening at 28 degrees of Capricorn, those of you with planets or points between 24 and 29 degrees of Capricorn or the other cardinal signs of Cancer, Aries, or Libra, you will feel it most personally, most intensely. Also, those of you who have planets or points in your natal astrology chart between 0 and 3 degrees of the fixed signs, Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, or Taurus, you will feel this new moon more personally as well. We will all feel the themes of this new moon wherever we have 28 degrees of Capricorn in our natal astrology charts. And I think this is going to be a potent, intense new moon, so we will likely feel it in the collective as well. Okay, my beautiful friend, let us do your 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your natal astrology chart corresponding to the area of your life in which you are likely to feel this Capricorn new moon. Watch your sun and moon signs as well for further themes that may very well be relevant and intuitive messages. And we're going to start with Capricorn because beautiful Capricorn, this is your new moon. And what a new moon it is, given that we have so many planets and points in your first house, the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Mars. You could feel quite busy during this new moon. You could feel like there is a lot going on, especially a lot of communication, Mercury. You could feel highly motivated, Mars. You could be just, Mars also rules the physical body. So with the first house, with the new moon, which is a new beginning, a new vision, a new plan, it's the beginning of a manifestational cycle. You could be very focused on your physical body. The first house rules our vitality, and Mars rules the body. And so, with Mars transiting your first house, and this already being the house of our physical body and vitality, you could be working on strengthening. You could be, changing a workout routine or deciding to exercise more, or you could be healing a health issue. But the first house is not just our vitality. It's not just our physical look or image or, the clothes that we choose to wear. It's all of that. It's our image, our self-image, the image we want to portray to others, how we want others to see us. But it's also your roles, your commitments to other people, your titles at work, or if not at work, any roles that you take on. So, for example, if you are retired, it could include a title such as a volunteer position that you've taken on, or your familial title with various people in your life. Aunt or uncle, sister, brother, mother, father, grandparent, grandchild, you get the idea. And so when we have a new moon in the first house, we are reflecting on what our heart most wants going forward. The first house being your own identity, your own sense of you. That translates to any other area of your chart because we bring our identity wherever we go, right? In every area of our life, we are showing up based on how we see ourselves. And this is why a first house new moon can be a moon in which we are contemplating our relationship status or status within more than one relationship. Maybe we're contemplating how we do relationship in general. Maybe we're contemplating reinventing ourselves or leaving a job or changing profession or starting a vocation or becoming a traveler. I mean, there's so many different ways that a new moon in the first house can play out. It can also affect your home. It can also affect, what you want. If this is a big turning point for you, Capricorn, this can affect your thinking about what you want in this next stage of your life or next chapter of your life. So it's very exciting, and happy birthday to those of you who have January birthdays. If you don't know what your heart wants most going forward, if you don't have a new vision or a new goal, or you're not excited about creating a plan for something that's going to feel energizing for you, if you're not inspired, in other words, about something future focused, this is a good new moon to reflect on what you don't want to take further with you into 2026. What do you want to release? What do you want to let go of? And yes, Those tend to be questions that we ask at full moons, but we just did have that full moon in Cancer. You could have done that reflection then, but have you followed through on it? I think a lot of us are going to be having important conversations during this new moon if there is something that needs to be said that has been left unsaid. So on that note, beautiful Capricorn, I'm going to shuffle the cards and we're going to see what the cards have to add to your Capricorn new moon reading. Capricorn. Your card is the mountains. Not surprisingly, you know the metaphor of climbing a mountain, right? For your sign, Capricorn. And it says, stand your ground. Stand your ground. Be the mountain. Is there something in which you need to take a stand? Is there, this could be in a relationship, obviously. This could be in any situation at work, in any situation at all. This is about boundaries, right? This is standing your ground, saying it's a big validation of saying whatever if you're wavering on something, if you're wondering whether you are truly connected to your heart and you're truly wanting to make a stand for something. And if you're not sure, because, often in Capricorn energy, we can stay with a duty or an obligation or a commitment past the time that we're meant to do that. Because Capricorn, you are responsible. You do want to do the right thing. You do feel often a ethical or moral obligation to follow through on something. But if you're not being honored, if you're not receiving back what you're giving, if you feel drained or exhausted, especially if you feel dishonored, especially if you feel unloved or unappreciated by the person or situation that you're giving energy to, well, then this card speaks for itself. Be the mountain, stand your ground, see what comes of you telling your truth. If the other person can honor your truth and you guys can make a course correction, great. If not, then the universe may have another plan in store for you. If anything I shared resonates, beautiful Capricorn, and you want to share in the comments below, I would love to hear. Sagittarius. I'm not sure that my voice is quite up, getting closer, not quite up to singing yet, but let's talk about this new moon for you. It is happening, the Capricorn new moon, in your second house. This is calling you to reflect on, to deliberate about, to go inward, to connect with your heart, most specifically about what is important to you in the second house arena, which is your earned income. It's your values. It's aligning your life with your values. It is self-love, self-worth, deserving, material security. Where are you in your life right now in terms of material security? The new moon in Capricorn is saying, we want to make sure that you feel materially secure. And if you don't, what can we seed for intentions that will bring you closer to that? Do you have a vision or a project or a side gig, or do you want to ask for a promotion, or do you want to get a different job? Do you want to work on up-leveling your self-esteem? Do you want to do some connecting with the divine to increase your sense of deserving? These could all be helpful things to do during this new moon. Watch part 1 of this video where I go into Mars and Mercury being part of the stellium of planets in Capricorn and all of the other planetary conversations going on, because I give you pointers, I give you tips on how you can work with those energies to up-level this area of your life, beautiful Sag. So I want to pull a card for you and let us see what the cards have to say. Let me shuffle for you. And my question for you is, are you happy with your level of material security right now? Or is there a new intention, a new seed of inspiration, hope, possibility, desire that you want to plant during this new moon that will make you feel more rooted? Because that's, and when I say rooted, I mean rooted in terms of being here on this earthly plane, right? Security it would be wonderful, in my view, it would be wonderful if we could source all of our security from within. That would be so freeing. But most of us source some of our security, at least, from knowing that our bills will be paid, knowing that, you know, we have enough money to feed ourselves, to have a roof over our head, and so on. So we're all in different places as far as that goes. But this new moon for sure wants to help you to know that you deserve what your heart most wants. Okay, so now that I've shuffled, Sag, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Sag, your card is the Druid. Hold the space. The Druid is a wise mentor. The Druid is somebody that other people look up to. You can see in the background there's a fellow traveler here with the white hat. And it does look like they're on some sort of journey or some sort of quest. But does this resonate for you? Hold the space. Are you holding space for others? Are you holding space for yourself in some way? This suggests a higher calling. This suggests a spiritual mission or a quest or something that you are on, that when you hold the space for both yourself and others, you're able to let your spirit really shine through. Beautiful, Sag. And another hit that I'm getting from this is that by holding the space, you really do make other people feel more at ease. You help other people to be more vulnerable and share what's on their heart. There's a strength in the Druid. And I believe this card, a strength and a wisdom. I believe this card really wants to acknowledge your wisdom, your strength, your ability to energetically hold space for others. And that is a lot to be proud of and to feel accomplished about. Beautiful, Sag. So if anything I've shared resonates for you and you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are going to experience the Capricorn new moon in your third house. This new moon, like all new moons, is a new manifestational cycle. It's a new dream or a fresh start or something that you can seed intentions for that you want to co-create in your third house. And what is the third house? It is the house of moving and shaking, I like to call it. It is your local environment. It's your hood. It is neighbors, aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, those relationships. But it's also the people that you interact with whenever you go out and do anything. Like if you just go to the grocery store, or you go to the gym, or you know, whatever it is that you do, you go to a meetup group. That networking, those conversations often that happen just sort of on the fly, this is where you can get some real inspiration, some real sense of knowing about you, about yourself, because new moons are reflective. You can get new information. Third house is also information, mindset, communication, emailing, all those things that helps you to move forward. So a third house new moon is often very busy, and you could be, you know, driving to the airport. You could be taking a short trip. You could be doing a long weekend. Also, the third house brings in freelance work, website work, teaching, writing, speaking, and you get a sextile. You get a sextile, Scorpio, from this new moon to your energy. And sextiles are very advantageous for new opportunities and solutions. Sextile is an aspect in which if we do the work, in other words, we take a step, we see an opportunity, we say yes to it, then we can reap the rewards of it. And my favorite example, and some of you have probably heard this if you've been watching my videos, but I love this example. It's very sextile. It's like you're on a plane and you are stuck in the middle seat and you are just like, you know, the other people have their arms on your armrest too. Has that happened to you before? It's happened to me. And you're like, what? I'm just supposed to be, you know, it's very, very uncomfortable, right? But you see that there's another seat available or even a whole row available someplace else. And you ask the flight attendant. I know that's kind of rare in this day and age, but it happens. And so you see that's available and you ask the flight attendant and they say, go ahead and sit there. You can have it. You get the blessing, you get the reward because you went ahead and asked for it. So we do have to take a step with a sextile. But my question for you, Scorpio, is what do you want to co-create during this new manifestational cycle? This is often a time that we are thinking about our intentions for the new year. Maybe you're thinking about your intention for the month. Maybe you're thinking about what you want to release and let go of. Any or all of that would be very appropriate for this time. Especially too, I didn't mention this before, your inner narrative, the story that you have about your life. This new moon is very, very supportive of being aware of what mindset we have, and can we shift to that? Can we create a new intention that's more supportive? Or maybe your mindset's great. Maybe you have a beautiful, blooming I am story about who you are now and what you're attracting to you. So Scorpio, let me pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for your Capricorn new moon. Scorpio. Your card is, oh, I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. Love and let yourself be loved, the Heart Guardian. I love this card so much. This card is very appropriate if you are wanting to be in a relationship or you're already in a relationship. If you feel like you have had a wall up or the other person's had a wall up, this card is saying, allow yourself to let yourself be loved. Allow yourself to drop any walls. Allow yourself to drop any grievances toward another person, to release a grievance. This is a really good new moon for tapping into unconditional love, tapping into radical compassion for yourself and for others. And I mentioned in part one, I'll mention it again, the Ho'oponopono prayer. Ho'oponopono is so good when we're having trouble releasing anger, frustration, sadness, resentment toward another person. Just those words, Ho'oponopono, you say it over and over and over until you feel the energy shift. That way, we don't have to try and get ourselves. Sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need the divine to help us to get to the point where we can do that forgiveness and Ho'oponopono. And we're never saying it was okay what you did. We're never saying, that we weren't hurt by it, right? What we're saying is, Spirit, help me to do this release and this forgiveness and this healing. Help me, please help me facilitate that. So I hope that's helpful for some of you. If you resonate with anything I shared and you want to comment in the comments below, I would love to hear. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, you are going to experience your Capricorn new moon in your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, your ancestral line. This is the house in which we can do ancestral healing work. We can do inner child work. We can imagine that our inner child is in a sacred secret garden and we're going in and we're giving that part of us love and care and TLC. A new moon in the 4th house is often one in which we just want to be at home. We don't want to be out doing different things. It's a great new moon for reflection. It's a great new moon for meditation. All new moons, of course, are new beginnings. They are the beginning of a new cycle. They are, a cycle in which we're co-creating because we're here on Earth and we're doing that spiritual work to bring something into tangible reality. So a heart's desire or a vision. Now, of course, because it's a new moon and it's in your 4th house of home and family, this could very well have to do and probably will with a actual home that you have. Maybe, the question is, Libra, are you happy in your home? Are you happy where you live? Do you want to live someplace else? Are you happy with the people you live with if you live with others? Are you happy with living alone if you live alone? It's a check-in, right? This is a check-in point to say, how do I feel about this area of my life? Is there anything that I want to change? And it's also your roots and your sense of belonging. Do you feel like you belong where you are? And if not, it's a great time to set an intention for what you do want to feel instead. Even if you don't know, you might say, I know that I need to move. I don't belong here. I don't like where I am, or I don't want to live here anymore, but I don't know where I want to live. So those feeling words, right? Like whatever you want to feel in your home, bringing those into play, activating those words. You could do a ritual. You could do a new moon ritual. You could speak it out loud. You can write it down. You can create a little altar. But that's something you might want to do if you're not sure. Now, some of you may be going through some sort of a need to course correct a relationship with a family member. So you might be thinking about that. You might want to have a conversation. We are very supported during this new moon to have the conversations that we maybe haven't had yet that will make a difference. And we often don't know what the outcome's going to be, right, of that kind of conversation. And yes, we do have to create a certain amount of safety for ourselves and the other in order to have that conversation. This new moon does square your energy, and the squares basically put us into action because we feel the tension and pressure of a square, and so that motivates us to do something that we haven't done before. It motivates us to take that step, to make that phone call, to talk to that person, to do our own inner child healing work, whatever it is, so that we can move the energy. Squares want us to move the energy. They want us to take some sort of action, some sort of step. So with that said, beautiful Libra, what do you most want in your heart of all hearts for this area of your life, your home, your family, this is also the mother line, anything to do with ancestry. Some of you could be exploring your ancestry. You could be doing research on that. You could be, I'm just getting an image right now of a photo album. Some of you could be creating a photo album. Some of you could be writing down, stories of people that have been in your life. Capricorn is legacy kind of energy. So it does very much support things like creating some sort of legacy or some sort of memory book or something like that to preserve those stories and those memories of family members or of your relationship with people in your family. And of course, it can be our actual biological family, our chosen family, our soul family. Okay, so Libra. Let me pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say. Libra, your card is the Great Teacher. And it says, learn from spiritual experiences. So when I look at this card, I always see Jesus. I know it's very stereotypical Jesus, but that's what I see. I see Jesus releasing this dove of peace. What do you see? Regardless of who this person is, what matters is who is it to you, and how do they represent the great teacher? This card is calling on you to connect with your own inner teacher. And it's also validating that many of you are beautiful teachers. And that, this could also be reconnecting you with a teaching that has had impact on you, positive impact on you. It could be a reminder of that. Or it can simply be an invitation to call on the teacher within you or another teacher to receive the wisdom or to validate the wisdom that you already have within you. Beautiful Libra. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments below, I would love to hear. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo. You are going to experience the new moon in Capricorn in your 5th house of children, romance, love, creativity, your most wild, unbridled creative expression, what fulfills you, what inspires you, adventures, and anything that you do just for fun, pleasure, comfort. This is the house of, it's very personal in a way, even though love and romance fall here. In a way, it's very personal because it's heart-based. It's having us tap into our hearts and do the things that really light us up. So with that, Virgo, my question for you is, what would light you up most now? What do you want to create? It's a new moon. It's a time of seeding intentions. It's a time of asking ourselves, often as humans, we get inspired by what's not happening, right? What we're missing, what's missing in our life. So is there something missing for you in this realm of true love, romance, inspiration, creativity, children? Sometimes there's a fresh start that has to do with a child during a new moon like this. There's so much that this new moon has to say about how we can work with the energies that I share in part 1 of this video. So I encourage you to do that. But Mars and Mercury are big players, and Mars and Mercury are about taking action and having conversations and having the conversations that we haven't had a lot of times, that we have sort of, avoided. That could be part of this for you too. I mean, it's a beautiful, harmonious new moon for you. Capricorn energy trines your energy, Capricorn Earth to your Earth. So it's the best aspect you could have, Virgo. And something may fall into your lap during this time. And some of you are already in a love relationship. I understand that. Some of you don't want a love relationship, but really this is just as much about self-love as it is about loving others. As my colleague Robert Holden wrote, all love is self-love. All love certainly begins with self-love. So this could just be a wonderful new moon to go do something that really lights you up. And maybe you want to pull out those paints, or maybe you want to, play with pastels. Maybe you want to dance. Maybe you want to let yourself run wild and free. It's different for all of you, but this is definitely a feel good, do what lights you up new moon, Virgo. So let me shuffle now and let's see what the cards have to say for you. How is your January going so far? How are you feeling the energies? I love hearing from you, so please feel free to leave me a comment if you'd like to share. And your card is Virgo. The Medicine Guardian. It says, be open to healing information. Interesting. Information, that is a key word for this new moon, with Mercury conjunct the new moon. And the Medicine Guardian, this realm of health, is very much connected to the 6th house, which I know this new moon is in your 5th house, but Virgo, you are considered the sign that embodies 6th house energy, and 6th house energy is our health on all levels. Also, though, you see all the green in this card. Archangel Raphael, known as the heart guardian, known as the heart healing. There could be a heart healing for some of you here, because after all, the 5th house is very much connected to the heart. And maybe you are healing something having to do with a child, or having to do with a lover, or maybe doing some expressive arts. Using art for healing would be really wonderful medicine for you, beautiful Virgo. So if anything that I offered resonates and you want to share in the comments below, I'd love to hear. Leo. Hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you are having your new moon in Capricorn in the 6th house. The 6th house rules your daily work, your work environment, the co-workers, people that you work with, also health on all levels, emotional, spiritual, mental, physical health, your routines, your schedules, your lifestyle, and pets. So the question is, what do you want to co-create? What seeds do you want to plant? Seeds of intention during this new moon. Any of these themes could very well come up for you. Really, this house is about managing our energy and living in alignment with our own inner rhythm. Do you feel like you are living in alignment with your own inner rhythm, Leo, or do you feel constrained by other people's requirements, or other people's needs, or obligations that you've already agreed to? Those would all be very natural feelings to come up during a new moon in Capricorn. But this new moon really is, it's funny, I'm getting an image of a cutoff point, and I even heard those words, cutoff point. Because we are going into this year of 2026, where we're going to have major cardinal energies, most notably Saturn and Neptune in Aries, the very first sign, there is a real sense of us going into a brand new era, as I've spoken about in many videos, but a sense of shift in timelines, a shift in life chapters. So this idea of the cutoff, let me know if that resonates for you, because that just came through. You could feel like there is a cutoff for you, like that you have to leave a job, for example, or that you can't work with a specific person anymore. And I'm talking about things that can feel toxic to us, as one example. You could feel like you wanted to do your own business for a long time, but you haven't done it. And now's the time. You could feel like I, I've been wanting to get healthier for a long time, and now I have to. Now I really feel that. You could feel the fire burning underneath you for this new moon for sure, because there's so many energies in Capricorn. And Leo, we also have Venus conjunct Pluto together during this new moon, and they are making an opposition to your Leo energy. And 2 weeks after this new moon, we're going to have a full moon in your sign. So that's another reason you could be feeling this intensely. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, Leo, and we'll get further information on this new moon. Leo. The snake, shed old skin. That's very Pluto. Pluto and Venus in Aquarius opposing your energy, Leo. If you have planets or points in the very early degrees, like 0 to 4 degrees of your sign, then you will feel that Venus and Pluto opposing you. Not only that, but as we get further into this month of January, Pluto is going to meet up with all of the personal planets that move into Aquarius. I speak about that in the January video, my January video. So watch that, because if you haven't already and it intrigues you, because you could be feeling, those are all Pluto's all about shedding a skin. So I am not surprised that this card came up for you. It is time for you to shed a skin. And what I love about this card is that, and I want to acknowledge, like, shedding a skin is not the most comfortable thing to do. Often it requires us to tune into fears, to acknowledge fears, to move that energy, to release them, or to set boundaries that are uncomfortable to set, or to go into like cut ties with somebody, and then we can feel like we're in this void, and who's going to come in and take this place of that person, or what. We can feel temporarily lost when we're in that in between. But what I love about the image of this card is the beauty of all of this green, and then this like sort of meandering snake. The shape of the snake's body is very beautiful. The curves, the meandering, it just strikes me as very feminine, whether you're male or female, the feminine nature, our ability to shapeshift, our ability to have life be sometimes a winding road, and that whatever happens, you're going to come through it stronger than ever. So if anything I shared, Leo, resonates, I would love to hear in the comments. Leave me a comment. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. I have my moon and rising in Cancer. So Cancer family, we are going to experience this new moon in our 7th house of committed relationships. All partnerships in which we have the other person's back, they have our back, they fall within the 7th house. It can be a romantic partner, yes, or a spouse or a significant other, but it's not just that. It can be anyone that you have made any sort of spoken or unspoken commitment to, anyone who you feel devoted to, anyone who you put time, energy, money, or any of those things into that relationship. So this new moon in Capricorn happening in your 7th house is asking you, are you satisfied? Do you feel in alignment with relationships that fall within this house? Do you feel that there is reciprocity? Is there a mutual give and take? If not, this new moon really wants us to look at that and act accordingly, change the way we use our energy or the time that we spend, so that we aren't giving to people who aren't giving back, for example. Or you could be setting a goal with a partner during this time. A partner could be, doing things that are very up for you during this time, could be asking for your help, for example. You could be creating a plan with a partner. This could be a business plan. You could be Um, New clients could be coming to you during this time. But in Capricorn energy, we are tasked, Saturn word, Saturn rules Capricorn energy. We are tasked to be in integrity, morally speaking, but also in integrity with our soul. So this is going to begin a new relationship cycle for you, and you could have new people come into your life during this time, especially because Mercury and Mars are part of the new moon configuration. Because it's in opposition, in other words, your energy and the other's energy in the seventh house, you will probably feel this new moon in one or more relationships. And there's an aspect of releasing and letting go, along with an aspect of the fresh, the new, and the new heart's desire. And I speak about that in part one of the video. And I don't mean that all of you are letting go of a relationship necessarily, but there is something, I think, for a lot of Cancerians about letting go of maybe a way of being. Or when we had that Cancer full moon 2 weeks before this new moon, I believe that was January 3rd, it was the first few days of January. Did anything happen for you, Cancer? Did you have a revelation? Did you have a situation where you found out that, or realized that the other person didn't have your back in the way that you thought they would? Or maybe the opposite. Maybe some of you were proposed to during that Cancer full moon. It can always go either way. But something, I think, for a lot of Cancers, especially if you had planets or points around the mid degrees in your sign, that's where that full moon was at 13 degrees, around the mid degrees, you could have realized something or seen something, seen a truth that you didn't see before. And now you're perhaps responding to that around this new moon time if you haven't already. Okay, and if there's anyone that you need to have a heart-to-heart talk with, or anyone that you need to adjust your expectations of, I've said this before in my videos, Cancers can have expectations, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You know, Cancers have big hearts. We give a lot. But the question is, are your relationships current? Do they suit how far you come as a soul, your own soul's evolution? And are there any karmic soul contracts that have expired for you, or where you do need to make some adjustment or have a conversation? Okay, Cancer. With that said, let's pull a card and see what the cards have to say for you. Guardian Angel, you are not alone. I love this card. You are not alone. Look for white feathers. Tune into your guides. Tune into your guardian angel. Tune into your angels. Talk to the divine, because the divine is really wanting to let you know that if you felt alone lately, if you felt like you're doing it all by yourself, you are not. You are absolutely not. And the cool thing about this card is it's very new moon, because there's the sun, the glyph of the sun and the moon. That's a new moon, the sun and the moon conjunct, right? And there's the eye. So the eye, your intuition, or your higher power, your soul watching over you, your guardian angel watching over you, is saying that you are being protected, you're being watched over. In Cancer, with Jupiter still in Cancer, that brings protection too. So you are also beautifully protected. But a strong feeling I'm getting with this card is, call on your guardian angel more often. Ask them to send you signs. Ask them to make their presence known. Today, I was at a nail salon this morning getting my nails done, because I like to have them done for these videos. And it was so cool as I was sitting there, in front of the lovely lady I go to. I love her so much. I got this sense of a being that just was coming overhead. And when you get that feeling, you look to see, is that a real person? And there was no person there, but I'm telling you, I felt it so strongly right here on my left side. Just checking in, just saying hi. It was so cool. So if there's anything that you want to share in the comments below about this reading, or anything else, beautiful Cancer, I would love to hear. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. You are going to experience the new moon in Capricorn in your 8th house. This is a new vision, a new manifestational cycle, a heart's desire that you want to bring into reality, a plan perhaps that you're hatching. in your eighth house. And the eighth house is the house of emotional attachments, death and rebirth, transformation, power and control. This is the house in which the things that fall here are things that we can get very attached to, such as intimacy, emotional or sexual, with another, shared resources, time, money, and energy with another. Clients can fall here, business relationships can fall here. Also, when we take a relationship from, like, we're significant others, but now we move in together, now we live together, now we share resources, that is also the eighth house as well. Also, it's a financial house. So money from others, including retirement funds, investments, savings, like interest that you earn on savings, falls here. Nest eggs, real estate, or any long-term financial goal. So the new moon here is definitely having you look at either a relationship that is quite passionate or intimate, or it's having you look at your finances or your investments or savings, or anything that you own. This house is where we put like the long-term financial resources that will take us into our future, long-term security. So when we have a new moon in the eighth house, especially because Mars and Mercury are also transiting in your eighth house during this new moon, it could be a very active time. You could be getting new information. I find it interesting that Mercury is here because I wonder if there's going to be news about the financial markets during this new moon. Mars could have you it's an action-oriented planet, so it's asking you to take action on something that's very important to you, and that could be rearranging something financially, it could be changing investments, it could be going after something that's very Mars, going after something that is going to build security for you, or that is going to be positive for you within a relationship, or you could be experiencing a lot of passion with a partner during this new moon as well. Mercury is asking us, do we need to have a conversation? Is there something that we haven't, you could be getting financial advice. The eighth house is also advisors. So you could be getting advice from anyone that you trust, whether it's financial advice or relationship advice, or advice that, if you feel a need in terms of your emotional well-being to get advice, that can fall in the eighth house as well. The eighth house are things that the topics of the eighth house are often topics that we don't want to discuss with anyone unless we really have a strong sense of, I can trust this person. Because it can be very deep, and it can be emotional, and it can be, private, very private. But when we need advice on these things, we need advice. So you could be seeking out, a financial planner. You get the idea. Okay, so let us see what the cards have to say for you, Gemini. And I have my natal sun in Gemini. I'm part of your Gemini family. I love hearing from you. Leave me a comment. Let me know anything that I shared resonates for you. Some of you could be wanting to buy a new home. Some of you could be getting excited about building some sort of savings fund or other kind of fund to fund a goal, to fund something that is going to make you feel more secure. Or you could just be very lit up by a passionate relationship. Okay, so Gemini, your card. Ooh, this is a really interesting card. Shaolin Master, and it says, be graceful in movement and action. So check it out. What I love about this card is that he is having to use his spiritual resources, his connection to the divine. He is channeling that in order to do this movement that he's doing, this very graceful Zen-like movement. It's a balancing act, right? He's got the wisdom of the grasshopper here. He's got the metal ball that he is elevating at the same time. So there's magic going on here. It's very strategic too, and that's the eighth house. In the eighth house, we're often supported to be strategic, to use all of our resources, body, mind, and spirit, to bring about the outcome that we choose. So whatever outcome you want around this new moon time, be graceful in movement and action. Be very aware of everybody's needs and how can you tap into the divine, be in integrity, stay aligned with your own moral compass, whatever that is, and also factor in your own needs. I believe that this is being encouraged by this card. And if you want to share whatever you get, or if what I shared resonates, in the comments below, I would love to hear a beautiful Gemini. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, the new moon in Capricorn is happening for you in your ninth house. The ninth house is connected to your spiritual belief systems, higher learning, the quest. This is a house in which we often experience some sort of expansion, some sort of awakening, some sort of sense of transcendence at times. Also, what can fall here is just our enthusiasm for sharing information, our enthusiasm for sharing our point of view on life, for sharing our spiritual mastery, or the very simple acts, and these are not easy, I don't mean to say that, but the manner in which we share through podcasting, broadcasting, publishing a book, for example. It is meant to be a house of new horizons and new possibilities and new endeavors that are coming from a higher consciousness, from a higher perspective. Also, what falls in this house is government activities, like if you work for the government or you work for a university that is, a state or public university of some sort, or the law, justice. And it can be laws, restrictions, or hoops that you have to jump through to get a visa or to move to another country, or anything that you have to do to satisfy requirements from a government agency, for example. So when we have a new moon in the ninth house, it encourages expansion. It encourages you to tap into your heart, to what vision you want to create, to what your heart most wants, beautiful Taurus. And because it's Capricorn energy, it trines your energy, and trines are the most flowing aspect, the most supportive and easy aspect that we can get. The wind is at your back during this new moon, at least in regard to your Taurus energy. And so my question for you is, what does your heart most want in any of these arenas? You could be doing armchair travel, you could be reading a bunch of books, you could be studying astrology, you could be learning about anything really, because this is the house of higher learning. You could be getting a degree or thinking about getting a degree. But this new moon also wants us to release anything that isn't working for us right now, that isn't in integrity with who we really are. And I go into why that is in part one of this video, but there is an element during this new moon of releasing the past, releasing what's out of integrity with us, and also stepping into something new. We are meant to release something, and it could be your allegiance to a person or a situation or career even, an obligation, a duty, a responsibility. You could be releasing that, or sort of wrestling with the question of, do I want to release that? That could be part of this new moon for you as well, Taurus. But I love this new moon for you with the flowing trine. That's very supportive. So Taurus, let's see what the cards have to say for you for your Capricorn new moon. Taurus, your card is the Elder. It's getting harder for me to see because it's dark now. It says, move beyond ancestral patterns. So, Taurus, check out this card. The first thing that I see, besides the words that are here, what I see when I look at this person is a very fun, kind of mischievous. You see the look in his eyes, you see his big cheekbones. I feel that he is saying, I'm having fun just being me. I'm enjoying being me. The beautiful paint on his body. there's a wisdom to the elder. This new moon is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is connected to the wise elder. And this is acknowledging that you are a wise elder. Or if you don't relate to that at all, perhaps there could be a wise elder in your life that this is encouraging you to connect with that person. That person may have information for you. I mean, this says to move beyond ancestral patterns. So is there a pattern that has been passed down through your ancestry, through your family line, mother or father line, that you know is in some way holding you back? It could have to do with material security. It could have to do with your belief systems. It could have to do with, it's interesting because the ninth house is connected to our spiritual beliefs. And a lot of times when I'm doing readings for clients, I find that when they're having a ninth house transit, it can be connected to like a religion that their family was very much a part of, or it could be like their cultural expectations of their, wherever they grew up, that culture, and they have to break free from that in order to move forward in their soul's evolution, in order to follow their heart, in order to say yes to what they most want. So whether this is acknowledging you as an elder Taurus, or it's suggesting that you connect with somebody who would be a wise elder for you, it is asking you, is there something in your upbringing, your culture, your family, or any environment in which you were exposed, that you don't vibe with anymore, and you have to release it in order to soar forward toward your destiny even more, beautiful Taurus. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries. The new moon in Capricorn is happening for you in your 10th house of career, life purpose expressed, your legacy, retirement or semi-retirement. Whatever it is that makes you happy, that brings you meaning, that brings you fulfillment, if somebody asks you, how do you spend your time, and you're not working anymore, if you are working or you have a passion or a vocation, then you would answer with that, right? But if you're not, it can be just where your heart is right now, or what you would do if you didn't have to work. It could be something that you do on the side. It can be something that you've always wanted to do, but you have not yet given yourself permission to do. And so, beautiful Aries, because it's a new moon, it's asking, what does your heart most want now? And what are your intentions? And what do you want to co-create with the universe and with your own soul going forward in January, specifically January, or for some of you, you may take that further out into the year of 2026. And of course, it's a big year for you, Aries, because we do have Saturn and Neptune coming back into Aries. And Neptune will be there for, a very long time, 14 years till 2039. And Neptune was already there for a short time in 2025, but it's a big turning point for a lot of Aries this year of 2026, or maybe 2025 was, but that's going to continue for you. And so where are you in your career right now, or in how you spend your time, how you spend your one wild and precious life, as Mary Oliver so beautifully writes? What commitments or responsibilities do you have that you could be questioning now? Or maybe everything's great. Maybe you're like 100% I'm in. Maybe you're taking your career to the next level. Maybe you're taking a vocation and making it into a career. Maybe you're taking a job and you're working with the powers that be at your job to make it more in alignment with what you love. A lot of different ways this could play out. It will be different for all of you, but the new moon does make a square to your energy, and that is saying take some sort of action, take a step. If you feel pressured, if you feel stressed, if you feel like you need a release, some relief, that's when we can have the conversation, set a boundary, acknowledge a truth, make a decision. Sometimes it's simply an internal decision, right? And there's so many different examples. So I won't give a lot of different examples, but I'll just say, because it's in your 10th house, it could have to do with a family member, or have to do with somebody at work, or your role at work, or your role in a relationship. This is where you may be taking action. Maybe you need to clarify something with someone. Maybe you are trying to figure out who has your back, who's supporting you, and who isn't. You could feel like you are at a crossroads for sure, choosing this way or this way. Aries, if that resonates, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear, and let's see what the cards have to say for you. I've been shuffling for you, and your card is Aries, is the Traveler. Interesting. It says move in a new direction. Wow, because the 10th house really is in a lot of ways our direction, whether we're working or not, whether we have an established career or not, it really is a direction. And so some of you are meant to move in a new direction. Do you resonate with this? This is giving you a big yes, a big validation that what your heart wants, if it's not what you have right now, you are meant to do so. And you can take a small steps. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do the big leap. You can take small steps. Because that really is scary to our human self, to be like, okay, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to make the big jump. I'm going to, that idea of like, but what if I fail? And that's always a good question to ponder. Well, what if I did? But what if you take one tiny step at a time and you take calculated risks, as we say? I mean, Aries, you are a risk taker. You usually don't have a problem taking a risk, but I encourage you to take a risk that feels doable, but is still taking you enough out of your comfort zone that you know you're following what your heart truly wants. And if anything that I shared resonates and you want to leave me a comment, let me know. And Aries, just so you know, I do have a book called The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. That's really great if you are ready for a new direction and you don't know what that direction is, or you don't know how you're going to go about making it happen. I have a lot of stories in there about how I did it with various changes that I've made in my life, including career. And I think it would inspire you. So you can check that out. The link is in the description box below. Happy new moon in Capricorn. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, your new moon in Capricorn, your fresh start, new vision, new heart's desire, or intentions that you are reflecting on and planting the seeds of during this new manifestational cycle. It's happening in the realm for you of your 11th house. The 11th house is when we bring something out into the world, generally speaking. It's also friendships. It's also allies and supporters. It's online communities. It's social media platforms. But the idea of the 11th house is there's something that's very important to me, and now I'm sharing it. Now I'm putting it out there, so to speak. Doesn't have to be that. It can be just as simple as a best friendship, or it can be you deciding to go do something that you haven't done before, like show up to a meetup group or do online dating. Or it can be something financial as well, because long-term financial gains fall in this house. It can be a blog that you're starting. It can be that you start a new speaking, podcasting, videos. You start creating those and putting something like that out on a social media platform. But because this is both an ending, there's an ending vibe to this new moon and a new beginning, you could be closing out any of those things as you make space to bring something like that new into your life, Pisces. What's important with this house is that we feel supported. And if you're starting something new, you could be branding or promoting something new. You could be doing like a website for it, or, hiring someone to help you with the promotion of it, or hiring like a designer to do some of that, or maybe you're doing some of that. What I love about the 11th house is it's the World card in the tarot. And the world has asked us, what do you want next? The world is your oyster. So it's very positive energy, and it makes a sextile to your energy, this new moon. And the sextile is opportunities, solutions. We get an idea. We say yes to taking some sort of action. We make a phone call. We have a conversation. And then we receive the the blessing, the opportunity, the solution. So that's what I love about this new moon for you. And I just love the 11th house, because the 11th house is where we can really feel more expanded. We can feel like that the steps that we're taking are supportive. And as I said, most important, you feeling supported. This is what I want to encourage you to take into this new moon, is how can I feel more supported? That's what the 11th house is about. You receiving the support that you need. Pisces. So I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. For your new moon in Capricorn, Pisces. Winter. Interesting, because the season of winter is the season that Capricorn energy jump starts. And you got the winter card, and it says take care of your needs. Check it out. So it's winter. When it's winter, it's often cold. There's the wolf. The wolf has the fur, the skin, right, to keep it warm. And from that, I take the message to you, like, you have everything you need to reach your goals. You have everything you need within you. It's part of your nature. It's part of what you were given, your gifts, your talents, your strengths. You have what you need to get through a time that may feel harsh, winter, Capricorn energy. But also the wolf is a teacher. It's a wise teacher. So you have a wise teacher within you. And that could be a clue to some of you as far as what you're meant to do. Maybe you are teaching, maybe you are sharing a philosophy, maybe you are teaching something. And take care of your needs. In winter, we don't always feel like starting something new. It's interesting because January is the first month of the year, right? But it's winter. And that's why we often don't start new things until Aries season. We don't often start like big starts until the spring. But Capricorn season, being winter, is a time to reflect. It's a time to pull in the resources that we need to get through the winter, and to know that the spring is ahead, the spring will come. And in the meantime, take care of your own needs. So if any of this, what I've shared, my words, if any of what I've shared resonates, beautiful Pisces, and you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Aquarius. Hello, beautiful Aquarius. You are going to have your new moon in Capricorn in your 12th house. It is, like all new moons, the beginning of a brand new manifestational cycle, something that you want to bring into reality. It's a time to reflect on that. It's a time to get some clarity on what your heart most wants, either to release or to bring into this next month, this next 6 months. And Aquarius, because it's your 12th house, this is the house of the mystic, your subconscious mind, your dream state, your divine connection, the ethereal realms, out-of-body experiences. The 12th house is not of this earth, it's the other realms. And during a new moon in the 12th house, you have access to the other side, so to speak. Channeling, mediumship, very heightened intuition are often things that bloom during a new moon in the 12th house. And you could be wanting to enhance your intuitive abilities. You could be really becoming aware of your psychic attunement. You could be wanting to start a spiritually based business, to do channeling, to do automatic writing. You could be wanting to step into a healing profession, or anything that just feels like it's not of this world. Tarot card reading, for example. Being fiercely honest with yourself is very important during a new moon in the 12th house, because the 12th house is also where we can self-sabotage and where we can feel more connected to the other realms than we do with this realm. And so you're walking with one foot in both worlds during this new moon, and that's not always easy. The 12th house is also connected to the past, karmic relationships. You could be releasing an aspect of your past. You could be releasing emotional baggage. You could be letting go of realizing that a karmic bond has expired and that it's time to cut ties energetically or in person or both, and that you will see each other on the other side, as we say. What's interesting to me about this new moon for you is that Pluto and Venus are conjunct in your first house. And Pluto and Venus are quite passionate, but they can also bring in self-sabotaging behavior. I have to say that Pluto and Venus can be where we say yes to something that's complicated or something that's murky and that isn't in our best and highest good. Not always. It can be just super passionate, but just become aware of if you feel super obsessed about a person or a situation and it feels unhealthy to you, because obsession often is, right? It could be showing you something else. It could be showing you a pattern or something that you're ready to release. But I think this new moon is going to be, especially if you have planets or points in the high degrees of any of the cardinal signs, I think it's going to be transformational for you, but it could be also because you've got Pluto and Venus conjunct in the early degrees of your sign. And if you have any of your energy Aquarius in the early degrees, you could feel this more intensely as well. I love a new moon in the 12th house for getting a divine revelation or a message from your dreams, or to just become very aware of something you didn't see before. You could have quite an illuminating moment during this new moon Aquarius. So let's see what the cards have to say for you. What does your heart most want? Is there anything in that 12th house arena that you want to create? It could be just as much for you about an emotional state or you could be leaving something from your past behind too that's connected to karma. That could be happening too, Aquarius. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say for you, Aquarius. Aquarius. The Guardian. Ignite your passion. Aquarius. Do you feel ignited right now? And if yes, wonderful. If you want to leave a comment about what you're ignited about, it'd be fun to hear in the comments. But if you don't feel ignited, this card is saying this is a ripe time, an auspicious time for you to ignite your passion. What would you do if money, time, and energy were not an issue? What would you say yes to if you weren't afraid? If you couldn't possibly fail, what would you say yes to? Those can give you clues. Those questions can give you clues as to your passion if you're not sure what it is. But what I love about the image of this card, it looks like he's juggling. It looks like he's juggling this ball, this very spiritual, there's a spiritual essence within this ball, and he's juggling it back and forth. And he's realizing his own divinity, his own angelic presence. He's realizing that. And he's a warrior. You know, you can see it by how he's dressed. There's a warrior energy here with the red. It's safe to follow your passion. I don't know why that came through, but that's what just came through. It's safe to follow your passion. It's safe to ignite your passion. We get to decide what we do with it once we know what it is, right? It's safe to tap into and ignite your passion, beautiful Aquarius. If anything I shared resonates and you want to share with me in the comments, I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for the Capricorn new moon video. Thank you for liking this video, for giving it a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing, for commenting, and for subscribing. When you subscribe, you ignite the algorithm to put this video out to more people who love astrology, and it really helps support my channel more than you know. If you would like to do an astrology consultation, an astrology reading with me, it is my absolute joy to help illuminate your natal astrology chart and the transits that are going on right now as well. If you want to look further into the future, I'm also doing 2026 year ahead readings. Everything you will get from those readings is on my website in the descriptions, and the links to my astrology page are in the description box below. I also offer a number of different readings: life purpose, heart's desire, relationship compatibility, and a 90-minute astrology reading for those of you who would like extra time to focus on one or more areas that are very, very important to you right now in your life and to receive a bit of coaching. I also offer clarity coaching sessions. You can find out more about that through my coaching page, also linked in the description box below. And it is so much fun to get to meet you and connect with you over Zoom. If you would like to receive my free gift, which is a soothing guided meditation connecting you to your unconditionally loving divine guidance, go to my website, subscribe to get my weekly inspirational astrology updates for free, and you will get my free instant download gift at the same time. My beautiful friend, let me know how you're feeling about this Capricorn new moon. I love hearing your insights as well. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.